Hey, this is Frank from iHeartBerlin. Today we would like to start a new series for you called iHeartBerliner. Our first guest is Shani from Yafo and Shishi. She is the most big-hearted, charming host in the gastronomic scene in Berlin that I know here. And she's one of my favorite people in Berlin, so I'm excited to talk with her about how it is for her to live here, to run these restaurants, and how is life and love in Berlin, you could say. Shani, thank you for taking time to speak with me.
Always.
It's nice to be sitting here outside in front of your crazy restaurant that probably is the most crazy place in Mitte, for Mitte, I would say. You've been running the place now for 3 years?
Almost four. Yeah.
So basically you know all the neighborhood?
I'm really bad with knowing places because we're buried here. But I think, we managed with this small revolution to create a small Tel Aviv in the center of the quiet, peaceful Mitte vibe. The idea was when I moved here, I realized that the culture here is very either or, and really they really like conceptual things. They really like to know what they're getting into, and I think in Yafo I try to create an organized chaos so that when they walk in they'll have something else and something out of the box.
And running a place, you are really present here in the place. I always see you socializing with everyone and being friends with everyone. I wonder if you're already friends with the entire neighborhood that come here, luring them in with your charm here to the place.
I think I'm friends with whoever I find charming, and it's a lot of people. I really love being here. I really, really, really love being here, and I love characters, and I love it that in Berlin, someone with a blue hair and piercing and tattoo can walk in and I can talk to him and see that he's a doctor, which is and I don't know, someone who work in a bank I just love it that it's breaking the box every day, all the time.
What made you come to Berlin in the first place?
I had a German boyfriend for 6-7 years, and then in 2014 there was a war in Tel Aviv. And I think this war was just for me it was enough. It was too much. It was for me it was a point of I really cannot deal with it. And then we moved here. I really didn't know what I'm gonna do with the rest of my life. I was lost, and I hated here at the beginning. I was cold people, cold weather, didn't find a job, couldn't speak a word in German.
Life before in Tel Aviv, was it very in boxes? Were you very full of constraints in your life? Or
it wasn't about boxes, but it was definitely, I worked in 3 different jobs while I was a student. I didn't have time to breathe, basically. I didn't even have time to stop and think, and I think this is why moving to Berlin was so difficult to me, because when I moved, I had all of a sudden so much time.
I mean, I feel like Berlin has a lot of opportunities to distract yourself with lots of fun things.
I think that's also the essence of life, because once you stop 1 second, and I'm not in the party scene or drug scene, but I think if you have a good core and you know who you are, and Berlin is giving you the freedom to take this break, even if it's just for a few months, then you'll find because when I moved here I was I need this and I need this and I don't have money and I go work in a hotel and la la la, and once I was breathing into not doing anything or just focus on studying German. I worked and this is another thing, it's also really feel empowerment to be here a woman. I don't think in Israel I could have here I feel women are being respected.
You didn't have the feeling you had to fight for your place here in the gastronomic scene?
I think I need to fight for it because I'm a woman, and it needs some time till it be balanced, but I think Berlin give you women here are more respect. I worked in a restaurant for 4 years, and it's a crazy restaurant, Georgian restaurant that you dance on the bar and you eat and you drink, and it's
So here?
much more crazy. There it was a wild, wild place, and the owner was a very, very strong woman. Very romantic, fearless, and I think just being next to her made me like observe something out of it. But if you would ask me, hey, you want to open a restaurant?
Hell no.
So the restaurant owner is one of my inspiration, and of course my biggest inspiration is my grandma. My grandma is 108 years old.
Wow.
She has like grandchildren. She's full of light. If she puts her hands on you, you feel like the whole troubles of the world is just gone. When I moved in here, very briefly I will say that every place I went in, I didn't like the service, and I hated that it has to be functional, that I needed to choose, because I think, first of all, in Tel Aviv, and also me as a person, I really like to sit in places that offer me everything, whether it's food, good wine, good music, everything at all. My mission is to make people happy, and it's so, wow, I have the right to make people happy, and for me
you're really good at that also. Space. Like Shishi is a little bit embedded into like a backyard in Kreuzberg, so they're like a little bit more secluded than they are here, less exposed to people living around complaining for noise, so that's a blessing. Yeah. How would you describe the restaurant? Like, is there anything more you want to say about Shishi?
It's a new Mediterranean kitchen, and it's basically I always in my places I want people to feel love and warm and good team.
For the first time, what you have also in front of your restaurant, the stepstones, the golden plaques. You have like actually a bunch in front of you. It's like, oh, okay. Was that for you? Did you notice that? What did you think about?
Well, yeah, it was a big thing for me, and we also thought actually to call Yafo Goldstein, because the stones has a whole family called Goldstein. And then I was like, no, I don't want to get into this political vibe and call my restaurant and name that it's. I think I really like to confuse people. Yeah, so Yafo, yes, it's Yafo Tel Aviv, but there is a sign in Arabic, and the menu at the beginning was also in Arabic. So I love the feeling of not being one thing for people. But I can tell you that last year the family came here, or 2 years ago, and they cleaned the stone, and I just came to them and they were like, hey, it's my grandpa and my grandma, and they were living here, and then they were like, we're so moved that there is an Israeli restaurant here, and we cried and we hugged, and it was like.
I would like to know, what advice would you give other women that want to start projects in gastronomy or even a restaurant?
So the thing is, I'm really aware of how scary it is to be a woman and to do it, and I think most of the time women don't understand why are they so afraid to do it. So I think it's also really important to be aware and to ask yourself questions. It's not a bad thing, but women try harder because of the past, because of men, because of whatever. Just this is why I really like to work with women, to promote women, because on their base core, they would try harder. They would need to prove themselves much more than a guy.
What are your favorite things about Berlin?
Well, first of all, that I could create my dreams here, and I felt hugged, but in a real authentic way, not like in a fake way. I felt like people are really appreciate what I do, and the space, the feeling of space, personal space, space on the street. Of course, for me as an Israeli, to feel safe, to feel nothing bad will happen, that I can go at 4 o'clock at night drunk, dressed like this, and nothing will happen to me.
Thank you so much for taking the time.
Thank you.
Talking with us. It's always a pleasure.
Yes.
And it's always a pleasure also to come to Yafo.